one of the people so affected by that day, Karen McWaters, is on the phone with us right now. Karen, the horror of that day, you must relive. You were with Crystal Campbell when she died. Tell us your thoughts right now about this verdict.
I'm actually really surprised. I'm one of those people who really expected them to come back with life. But from being in the courtroom and watching the jury's reaction to a lot of the victims as they were testifying, I totally am understanding that they came back with what they thought was the right and correct thing to come back with.
Karen, is it my understanding that you were hoping this would be the verdict?
No, I actually really would have been happy with life, just because for the one reason, I mean, truthfully, it's not about the death penalty or a death. If anyone deserves to be put to death, it would be him. It's not about that. It's really about what happens when someone is convicted of the death penalty in this country. They get to do a lot of appeals. We'll continue to have to see his face in the news. And I think it's a shame for him to become the face of the Boston Marathon tragedy when really there's so many people doing wonderful things now. A lot of the amputees that have started foundations that are giving back. So much good came out of it, and I just think that's the only thing that would be sad about it, for him to overshadow that in any way. But I can't say that I'm not happy that they came back with the verdict that they came back with.
Karen, talk to us a little bit about this word that we've heard today, closure. We've heard it from the governor. We've heard people talk about it. You were there right in the middle of the horrific trauma of that day. What does closure look like to you, if anything, and does this verdict help?
I don't see this as closure. I saw those 30 guilty verdicts is a little bit of closure for me, because the jury saw exactly what I knew in my heart. It was that he was guilty of every single thing. And I'm so grateful for the prosecution to have laid out that case like they laid it out. They called him as an Islamic extremist, which is exactly what he is. He wanted to come into the city with his brother and kill people, cause mayhem, hurt people. He killed a child. You know, it was exactly what should have been played out, exactly the way the prosecution laid it out, and I'm so happy for that. That was my closure at the guilty verdicts.
That's what you needed, Karen. You have to be thinking of Crystal on this day. What are some of your thoughts about Crystal Campbell, who you were with in those final moments?
You know, I talk to Crystal all the time, and unfortunately she can't talk back, so I can't say what would be in her heart about the verdict today. I think, you know, her heart would be with her family, who have suffered so much and have seen so much, and I think they really wanted it to be life just so they could stop having to see this played out over and over. So for that reason, I'm going to be torn always about this verdict, but I really do believe that the jury came back with what they thought was the right and the just thing to do.